YouTube, my name is Gato. Today I'm going to go into how I set up my new MacBook for security and privacy. I just got this MacBook a few days ago. I haven't configured it fully yet, just basic things. Got OBS set up so I can record this. But I want to go into more detail on steps that I take to defend my privacy and security a little bit more. I'm going to make more videos like this in the future, and go into more specific topics. So if you have anything that you want to see, just comment it and I'll make a video on it. So first we're going to start in the settings. So you'll notice that I'm already on the home screen, so I've already gone through the first initial setup. Now, the setup screen, if you're watching this video, I'm already assuming that you're a little bit privacy oriented minded, but I'm going to go over the basics anyways. So location services off, always off. Everything you use, be very careful when you're using location services. You want to only enable the individual apps that you need at a time. I'm not sure if this is possible on Sonoma, because it looks like you need to turn the whole thing on first. Just kind of dumb. But anyway, so location services always off. Next, I want to get into passwords. I'm going to turn keychain off. I'm not going to do that just yet, but I recommend you leave keychains off so it does not get stored anywhere on your device. Lock screen, here we go. So, require password after screensaver begins or display is turned off. This needs to be set to immediately every time that your MacBook goes to sleep. You step away for a few minutes. I mean, even if you're home, you should always have this on. You're getting some work done in a public area, always leave that on, or always set to immediately, I should say. I like to turn show username and photo off. Okay. Just turn this off. You don't need a guest user. If you don't know if you need a guest user, you probably don't. I'm not sure why that's not letting me turn that off. Whatever. In the beginning screen, it's going to ask you about analytics and improvements. Always off. Siri is useless still. I know in Sequoia or whatever next huge Apple update, they have this huge AI release. I mean, Siri up to this point has just been a data collector for Apple. It's not when you invoke Siri, ask it something, it sends that to Apple's cloud and then it generates a response and sends it back to you. So not a good idea. I always turn all of these off. Analytics, file vaults, turn file vaults on. And like the name suggests, a lockdown mode is an extreme protection, whereas if you only really need to turn that on if you think you're being targeted by a specific APT that's tailored to you. So if you're in that situation, this video probably is not going to help you. So You don't need to have this on generally if you value the delicate balance between convenience and security. It's a very delicate balance if you care anything about security and privacy. You know there is a fine line that you walk. Updates. So I currently have this set to security responses only. So I don't want this to automatically install updates. This is a little bit up to you. Some might say you should leave it off. Some might say you should just leave all this on. I just have the security responses, which with the latest security patches to automatically install. So that's what I like to do. Let's see here. Hey kids, so I'm back. Yesterday, our power went out. Sorry, our power went out and had to stop filming. So now I'm going to install a program called batt. So this is going to limit the amount that allows your computer to charge up to. So you literally just run this command. I'm going to link this in the description and give credit to the author, which is Charlie0129. Again, I'm going to link this in the description. You can check it out. Basically, you just run this command, and then after you run this command, which I'm not going to do because I already manned, charging 79%, and I can see I set my limit to 80%. So you'll be able to use this to set it to wherever you want. So it would literally be like sudo batt. Let's say you wanted to do 75. This is the command you would use. It's really simple. Now, if you do this, you don't have to do this. I'm just doing this because I already know this MacBook is going to be plugged in most of the time. And everyone knows by now it's not a good idea to leave it charged up to 100%. So you want to make sure the optimized battery charging is off if you install this program. And also keep in mind this program is mainly for the M chips for MacBooks. So there are other alternatives if you were on an Intel based MacBook still. Alright. Next, I will be showing you how to spoof your MAC address and your host name automatically upon boot up. So it's going to generate a new host name and a new MAC address every time you restart your computer essentially. So I will be following another GitHub program guide by Sam Knudsen. I highly recommend you go watch his videos. If you like videos like this, he has a lot more, and I've learned a lot from him, and he's a great guy to learn from. So I highly recommend checking him out. Again, I'm going to leave the links in the description for all of this. So first, we're going to create the user local sbin directory. Next, we're going to add that directory to path environment variable. I'm literally copy pasting from the GitHub here. That step I just did was creating the spoof sh script. Now we need to make it executable. Next, we're going to create another list to a launch daemons, whatever you pronounce that, doesn't matter. Create spoof hook script. And then make that spoof hook script that we just made executable. Next, we need to make sure that com.apple.login window does not exist. Command not found, no matches found. Domain.com, apple.login does not exist. We're good to go. Configure user default used to disable Wi-Fi interface. At logouts, that's step 10. Cool. So, real quick, who am I? It's gonna show my name. So now I need to reboot and check that this is working. Okay, I'm back, and as you can see here, the who am I command shows me my actual user. However, you run this command SCU till get host name, comes up as Braden's MacBook Pro. So this is what, if you were to go to a coffee shop or something, this is what the router will see, or this is what the router will see when you're trying to connect to it. And then this command is for the spoofed MAC address. And as you can see, that is not my real MAC address. And actually, I'm going to verify that it's not in a new window. Hold on. Let me take this off the screen. Okay, yeah, we're good. That's not my real MAC address. Perfect. Okay, and that is a, oh, I almost forgot. Let me do. Next, I'm going to go over a very basic overview on how to configure Firefox. So first thing I usually do, you go to uBlock Origin, install it. I already have it, so I don't need to do it again. Next, I like to turn these settings off here, like shortcuts, recommended stories. Like, it just clutter up your search. Like, I don't need to see that every time I'm trying to search something. We're going to go into manage settings, privacy and security. So if your private privacy and security focused, you may want to hit the strict feature here, and this would be a little bit tighter security. And as you'll see, heads up, this setting may cause some websites to not display content or work correctly if a site seems broken. So this could break some sites that you go on. Most people honestly might just need standard, but like I said, this is a basic initial Firefox configuration. You'll notice they still have Google as a search engine, which I'm going to change right now. I've tried not to set up too much so I could show you, but I've already went in here. Always check, tell websites not to sell or share my data, send websites that do not track requests. Always check these. Cookies and site data. I recommend deleting cookies and site data when Firefox is closed. Otherwise, it stays cached on your machine. This could be a little bit depending on how you want to configure this. Sometimes I will let Firefox save passwords, but only for websites and accounts that I do not care about. Websites and accounts where I have my throwaway emails, you never want to just use one email for everything you do. That's a big no-no. Have multiple emails, it's totally fine. I kind of compartmentalize them where I have a few where they're just straight, junk inboxes is for things I don't care about. And then I have my personal emails where I will use for personal real life matters. So I kind of recommend that. Save and fill payment methods. I would uncheck this. I don't recommend storing your data on your browser, especially your credit card information and things of that sort. History. You could always use private browsing mode. I'm going to uncheck remember browsing and download history. And leave clear history when Firefox closes. Block pop-up windows, you want to leave that checked. And of course, warn your websites try to install add-ons. And Firefox data collection and use, these are on by default. Uncheck all of these. These allow Firefox to take your data. And even it says allow Firefox to install and run studies. So if you have this checked by default, Firefox can just install whatever studies they're trying to do onto your browser. So, and an improve the Firefox adjust experience. Always turn that off. I mean, always. There's no, always leave these off. You never need those on. It's the first thing I do whenever I download a new browser. Security, of course, block dangerous deceptive content, block dangerous downloads. Security, DNS over HTTPS. Most people are just going to need the default protection, honestly. You could use increased protection if you'd like, but some of these settings might depend on your ISP and things of that sort. Sync, I always leave this off. I want to make a future video going more in depth into Firefox, like LibreFox and other Firefox user.js scripts that you can download and install, which I plan to do in the future and make a video on that. And just kind of show how that's done, because it actually uninstalls a lot of things like Pocket and Sync and a lot of things that you really don't need, honestly. Alright, where do I change this browser? Search engine, DuckDuckGo. It's just the way to go. Yeah, turn off suggestions from sponsors. You don't need that. Suggestions from Firefox also off. You don't need that. Cool. Yeah, and I think that's all I'm going to cover. This is kind of how I initially set up a new system configuration. I'm going to make a lot more videos, security related videos. I'm sorry if this is not so detailed or if I didn't do a good job explaining a lot. This is my first video I'm making. But if you have anything you want me to cover, anything security related, cybersecurity related, let me know in the comments. I'll make a video on it. And yeah, thanks for watching.